Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
This is Luke Rauch with Druids, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today it is an honor and a privilege to have Mr. Luke Rauch, vocalist and guitarist of Druids. They hail from Des Moines, Iowa. Based psychedelic stoner metal band Druids have been in the underground for the better part of a decade. But do not let that fool you, folks. This is a good band. Druids will release their 5-track album, Monument, April 19th, which is out already, via the company KC. Druids have also released their new single entitled The Whip, which we'll get into all of this stuff. So if you haven't got a chance to check them out, please do so. You will like this band, in my opinion. So, Luke, my friend, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing awesome. Glad to finally get your ass on the show.
There you go. Yeah.
So let's jump right into this. How's it been working with Adrenaline PR so far?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah. They've hooked up some great things for us, and nothing but awesome press so far. So yeah, we've enjoyed our time with them. Absolutely.
Now, Druids have been in and out of the underground scene for the better part of a decade. Do you feel that the band has had success being an underground band versus coming out more? Let's talk about that a little bit.
I think that I feel like we've done fairly well for being an independent band. I guess it's kind of hard to say because we haven't really been in a position to where we would be, I guess, like lumped as a bigger band or whatever, but I feel like we do okay. It's we've enjoyed the small successes that we've kind of worked up to.
Here's the thing that I see with these bands and the so-called underground saying, as I should say, when they have followers and fans, my God, are they loyal? Oh my God, are they loyal?
Very true. Yeah. There's a lot of that in Des Moines. I mean, there's people that have that saw our first show, and they still come to the shows. So that's really cool. They're pretty loyal for sure.
When you think back on that first show and to see where you've came and to see where you've come from now, does it kind of take you back and go or just kind of like, wow, that's insane from where we got to now?
Yeah, it's completely insane. I mean, we didn't sound anything like we do now back then. I mean, we were just a 2-piece. I was playing bass. It was way more like, I guess, primitive sounding and just really raw and stripped down and really loud. And now we're just kind of a little bit more meticulous, not focusing on like volume and, whatever. We're more focusing on like the songs and the sound sonically.
Now, you guys have released a music video for The Whip. Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs on this album, which would be the first single and video? And what did you want that first song to say for Druids, for the folks who have not heard your music yet when they heard it?
We feel pretty strongly about all the songs. So, we had an idea to do a different song first, but it didn't really work out for the timing of the video. So we just used the Whip, and I think it worked out well. I do think that I guess like having that be like the first song that would need to say something to somebody who hasn't listened to us about that record. I think it works just fine. I mean, it's the most ripping song on the record. That's for sure. I think it's like really in your face, lots of solos, and so I think it's cool. I think it's a good intro to the record, or I guess just our band in general is probably a good intro.
And it comes out the gate hitting hard too. It's not like and then it's right into it. I mean, it's just like bam, it's right into it.
Yeah. So I think it's a cool song for sure.
Any song standing out more to you than any right now possible on this album? I know it must change every time you listen to it. I know these are your babies or your favorite collectible, but do you have any that stand out for you, man?
Smears of Trigon is probably the one that hits the hardest for me. I like that it kind of phases in and out of vibes in general. And the lyrical content is like a little bit heavier for me, but yeah, I really like that song, and I love playing it live. I mean, we've only played it a couple times live now, but I really, really like that one for sure.
What do you hope everyone takes away from this new album, or a message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any of Druids' music in general? What do you hope that everybody gets from this?
Inspiration to create music on their own is really what I would like people to take away from it. Because, I mean, we really strive just to make heavy music that kind of pushes the creative boundaries of like psychedelic metal, and just really make it like as weird and as wild sounding as possible. Because I mean, metal can definitely be a really straightforward thing if you let it, but there's so much room to do other things. There's so much room to make it more interesting and a little bit more creative. But yeah, I would really like to inspire somebody to do something on their own, because there's plenty of bands that inspire me to do what we do. So, yeah.
But does that come back and hit you full force when somebody tells you guys like, hey, your music has helped me through a traumatic time in my life, or it's gave me the inspiration to overcome some obstacles? Does that become the surreal thing for you guys when this happens?
Yeah, it's really hard for me to wrap my head around that when somebody says that to me. I mean, I obviously really appreciate it. It hasn't happened enough for me to like fully realize that is something that happens, I guess, if that makes any sense. So definitely, it's just something I'm not really used to, but I definitely take it for sure. Pretty serious thing. It's
like you guys can write a song about something, what you're meaning it to be about, but we could interpret it as something totally different, which is cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I try to make it, I don't know. I mean, I try to make it like as vague, but as personal as I can. And I mean, that's kind of a newer thing for me too, because most of the time, or I guess the records leading up to this, I mean, it's been sort of personal, but it's also been just a lot of stories that like I've written and I just threw into lyrics. But this one, Monument, is way more personal. But yeah, I kind of enjoy writing that.
Mark Facey did the artwork for the album. Let's talk about that, man. How was working with him on this, and did he get exactly what you guys wanted?
Oh, absolutely. He pretty much knocks it out of the park every time. I mean, this is the third album we've worked with him on. I gave him a little bit of this. Well, this is the first record that I've given him direction as far as like, certain things that I want in the artwork. And I mean, he sent us back like a rough draft, and I was like, holy shit, it's way different than I thought it was going to be in the best way possible. Yeah, I mean, he does such a killer job. We definitely lucked out getting to work with him. Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Brandon Darner, he produced this album, correct?
Correct, yep.
Okay, and also this was engineered and mixed by Mika Natera and mastered by Doug Van Sloan. I want to get to Brandon first. How was working with him, and did he get anything extra out of you guys on this album, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked with him for a couple of albums. He has helped us vocally quite a bit, pushing us to get like the right take. He's just definitely good for us. We work so well with him. the singing thing is definitely new to us, and he helped us kind of lock in certain melodies and harmonies, and yeah, it's been great working with him.
What about Micah and Doug, who engineered and mixed this album? Working with those guys, how was that?
Yeah, he's been he's great. I mean, he just engineered. He's got really good ideas. He's great with sounds and locking in good sounds, and like there was a few synthesizer parts that we did. That was kind of his like brainchild, but yeah, great.
I'm going to ask this question, and I know you want to strangle him sometimes, probably, but how's it having your brother in the band with you, man?
I mean, honestly, we get along pretty well. I mean, we're like best buds. So, I mean, it isn't really all that bad. I mean, we can definitely get at each other's throats sometimes, but we know that we're better off just like we're just better off just getting along. So that's just what we do. Like we're pretty good to each other. I mean, there's definite ripping on each other 24/7 on the road, but I mean that's just what it is. Our poor drummer Keith definitely takes the brunt of that because Drew and I just have like a clearly a connection. We think a lot alike, and unfortunately Keith just he kind of gets the brunt of it sometimes, and Drew definitely capitalizes on that. But yeah, it's all in good fun, though. It's all in good fun. At least I hope Keith thinks that. But no, it's all good.
Keith is like, well, it's just whatever they want to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's all in good fun. I mean, anytime anybody crosses the line, there's usually an apology, and it's never anything too rough. But we all have the same goal, like we all love the band so much. We're not going to fuck it up by like getting all pissed at each other and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody has their ups and downs, and everybody don't see eye to eye. But I mean, my God, it's not worth to ruin a friendship over and ruin a band over, because some of the childish things have ruined that for bands. I mean, honestly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we know we've been in so many bands that have crumbled because of stupid shit. So, we all have the same goal, and that's really what keeps us going is that we, besides us being buds, it's, it just works so well, and we just enjoy doing it. We enjoy being on the road with each other and jamming, and, it just works so well. We're lucky to have that because a lot of bands don't, so.
How much growth musically have you seen this band and yourself go through up to the release of this album? And has it been a personal growth for all of you guys in this?
I can't speak for the other guys on a personal level, but for me, absolutely. I think that, this whole record has been, that's really what it's about, honestly, is just like growth in general. Just being somebody in their, mid-30s, you kind of jump stages from like, oh yeah, I'm just in this band and I'm just some kid playing music and like traveling around. Now it's like, all right, I'm an adult and I'm still doing this. So you kind of have this like mental, or I kind of had this like this sort of realization that this is just who I am and it's not going to change. Not that I ever thought that I was going to change in a drastic way to where I wouldn't be playing music again, but it's really just how this band has kind of opened up my eyes to the importance of music and playing in a band for myself, along with other, I guess, like personal things that I've had to deal with, just like growing and just becoming a better person in general and continue to learn how to be a better person. And the fact that, the band has been together for this long, and I feel like we're making strides and everything's going pretty well for us. So I'm just kind of trying to acknowledge that and just be real, I guess.
Do you like to do anything differently during the writing and recording process to help keep your mind fresh and open, to not let the music get stale or get boring? I mean, I know that's two separate identities, but do you like to do anything differently, maybe to help you?
I'm trying to try different things. We've kind of, the last 3 records, we've kind of had the same writing process. So I'm trying to kind of mix it up just to get some different sounds and different inspiration going. So we're trying to figure that out, like what works for us. But we've just been so busy touring and getting this record prepared, we haven't had a lot of time to sit down and figure that out. Not to say that there isn't like an entire back catalog full of riffs and ideas. We just haven't gotten together to put it all together yet. But I'm definitely looking forward to trying some different things out. Like as far as, I mean, I think that even just writing in different rooms, creating a different environment and different vibes, that has a lot to do with, I mean, that's a totally different thing that we haven't really explored. So trying to figure out a different writing space and just get some different ideas going. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that out at some point.
What can fans expect at a show from Druids who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come out to see you guys live?
Hopefully an inspirational experience. Just, you know, it's loud, it's in your face, it's pretty wild, but it's also contained and very moody. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you don't even really need to be a metalhead to enjoy it. Yeah.
In your own opinion, what does Druids bring to the table for music, Luke? That's not out there as of right now. If anything differently, possibly.
You know, that's a really hard question for me to answer personally. I mean, people do tell me that it sounds different than things that they've heard. I don't know. I think that, I mean, it's just our version of music that we want to hear. And we were really into, you know, 60s and 70s psychedelic music. We're also really into world music. We're into like African blues. We're into death metal. We're into all kinds of stuff. So it's just kind of all over the place, as most people's, you know, taste is. But we just try to like mix it all together, and just if it feels right, like it's a keeper. So yeah, I would say just it's just our version of like psychedelic metal, really.
But that's the thing about this band. Even I've listened to the previous albums, a couple of them. The music it's a full flavor of different styles of music, if you ask me. It's like a roller coaster of diversity of music, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good. I like seeing bands do that. I like bands that push that boundary and stand behind their music. That's what they want. And I tip my hat to you guys for that. And you guys continue to do that.
Right on, man. Appreciate that.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you?
My grandparents and my uncle were musicians. My uncle was a phenomenal drummer. And he convinced my grandparents to buy us a drum set, and then it just kind of went from there. Because I'm originally a drummer, so I kind of learned how to play drums, and then I kind of went to guitar, and then I just latched on to guitar a little bit more, just because there's a little bit more creativity, I guess, from my perspective, you know, and the availability to play guitar is a little bit easier than like pissing everybody off learning how to play drums that's around you. So that was a little bit easier for me. But
is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Druids get support from, or your music even gets played in that area right now, if you can tell, possibly?
Probably like, I mean, any European country or like Japan or something like that. I'm just like, how do they even know about us?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes to show like how internet is such a powerful thing, you know. As far as smaller bands go, it's pretty crazy. Like even like Australia or like some like really small islands, we get plays over there too. It's pretty wild.
Especially for them to even know the damn lyrics coming from English to there. It blows my mind, because I'm going, how does this happen? I mean, I know there's Babelfish, and I know there's translations and all that stuff, but I mean, how did they do that from the album to know what you're talking about and singing it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm excited to get over there with this band. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. But, you know, anywhere out of the country, just be a blast.
So we're living in the digital era now of getting albums out quicker, and plus now we got social media to reach out to more folks. Do you like this as a musician, to where we can get albums out quicker and now reach out to more folks to know of Druids. Do you like this?
There's definitely pros and cons to having an internet presence as a band. I guess as a band, it's just kind of where we're at. Like you said, that's just, it's the digital era. That's just what you have to do. I personally kind of hate social media, and having to be such an important thing to be in a band that's going for it. I mean, you have to spend so much time and energy figuring all that shit out, and sometimes I find myself doing that more than actually practicing and like getting to play music. But it's just kind of where we're at now, and there are pros, obviously. I mean, people listening to our music in other countries, like we were talking about, it's you just kind of have to roll with it. But there's definitely pros and cons for sure.
Is there a band on the bucket list for you that you would like to tour with, or even maybe do an old school album split with, possibly, Luke?
God, there's so many bands that come to mind. For some reason, the first one that comes to mind is Allman Brothers, but that would just be so weird. They're just old school rippers. I mean, doing an album with Billy Gibbons or something would be sweet.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of more like my jam, or like Frank Zappa or something, really, really weird and out there, to just throw kind of their flavor on like metal. Like I'd love to hear a metal song with like Frank Zappa or Billy Gibbons or something like that. I think that'd be so sweet.
I would like to see a band take on two songs, and these are my two songs I'd love, as far as like bluesy, southernish stuff like that. I would love to see somebody take on Stevie Ray Vaughan's Pride and Joy. That's one. And then the other one, I would love to see somebody take on the Animals' House of the Rising Sun. And instead of the organ part that's in there, do the guitar, put a guitar in there for that and see how they do. I would love to see that.
Dude, I like recently heard that song, House of the Rising Sun.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was just like, shit, this would be just a killer song.
I have said that for years, man. And I don't know if anybody's tried it. They may have. I just may not know about it. But that song, and I'm not knocking no band whatsoever, but that song from like the 60s, man, is still standing strong to this day.
It's classic.
Yeah.
It's classic. And like the vibe of the song is just like weird and mysterious.
Yes,
and that's what makes it so cool to me,
I love it, man.
Yeah,
It talks about a guy being a guy working for himself, living out of a suitcase, and it's a cool, like you said, it's a cool, trippy, kind of weird paranormal song, and it's good. It's good stuff.
Hell yeah.
All right, folks, you want to get out and check out Druids. You will not be disappointed in this band. Trust me, I like them, and I think you guys will too. So, Luke, my friend, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates. This album, how can they do that, my good friend?
DruidsIowa.com. That will get you anywhere you need to go to get anything that you need Druids-wise, for sure.
And before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah, not at all. This is Luke Rauch with Druids, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, plus our YouTube link, and hopefully soon a Twitch link. I know I've been saying that for the past several interviews, but we are working on some other good stuff. Also, get out and check out Druids. They have a flavor full of music, and I'm not just saying it because he's on here, but it's honestly the God's honest truth. Luke and his band are very, very diverse in their music, and I like it. I like this style of what they're bringing to the table for music. Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody else out there, but this is really good music from these guys. Luke, thank you so much. The best of luck to you guys, and hey, anytime you want back on here, just let me know.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it a lot.
listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.